Just another government spy coming to check on the white man. The massive prison gang leader shoved Marcus Washington against the concrete wall, his massive forearm pressing against Marcus's throat. The yard fell silent as inmates circled around, phones secretly recording from hidden positions. Marcus's eyes remained steady, his breathing controlled despite the pressure on his windpipe. His glasses fell and shattered on the ground as documents from his clipboard scattered across the prison yard. Have you ever witnessed someone being severely misjudged, only to discover they were far more dangerous than anyone could have imagined? 6 hours earlier, the alarm buzzed at 5:30, Aomin in Marcus Washington's modest apartment. He silenced it quickly, his movements precise and economical. NPR played softly in the background, reporting on prison reform legislation pending in Congress. Marcus moved to the kitchen where he brewed coffee in a well-worn pot, the aroma filling the small space. As he waited for his coffee, Marcus's gaze drifted to the photos on his refrigerator. One showed a beautiful woman with a bright smile, his late wife Sarah, who had died 3 years ago from cancer. Next to it was a picture of their daughter, Amara, now in her second year at Howard University. He touched the photo gently, a small smile crossing his face. "Good morning, Dad." Amara's voice came through his phone speaker as he answered her video call. "Morning, sweetheart," Marcus replied, his deep voice softening. "You're up early." "Big exam today. Wanted to catch you before you head to the prison." "Nervous about today?" "Just another day evaluating the rehabilitation program," Marcus said, adjusting his glasses. "Nothing I haven't done before." Behind Marcus, barely visible on the kitchen counter, lay his government credentials, Department of Justice, Special Oversight Division. Next to them, face down, was his encrypted phone with 3 missed calls from a number listed only as Command. As he prepared for his day, Marcus reviewed his notes on the Blackwater Maximum Security Prison. His briefcase contained official inspection documents, but hidden in a false bottom were detailed facility blueprints and guard rotation schedules. On his desk sat yesterday's newspaper, the headline partially visible: "Former Delta Force Commander receives Presidential Medal." Marcus dressed meticulously in a non-threatening outfit: khaki pants, button-up shirt, navy blue sweater vest, and thick-rimmed glasses that made him look more academic than athletic. Nothing in his appearance suggested the 16 years he had spent as one of the military's most lethal operatives. As he left his apartment, his neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, waved from her doorway. "Morning, Marcus. Another day saving the world with your clipboard?" He smiled warmly. "Just doing my small part for prison reform, Mrs. Jenkins." "Well, we're all safer with good people like you looking out for us," she said, handing him a paper bag. "Blueberry muffin, fresh baked." Marcus thanked her and headed to his car, checking his watch. He was running slightly behind schedule for his meeting at Blackwater. He had deliberately chosen this day for the inspection, the same day that notorious white supremacist gang leader Victor the Viking Kraus was scheduled to receive new prisoners under his control. His phone buzzed again with a text from an unmarked number. "Oversight compromised. Kraus has informant in dog. Abort mission." Marcus saw the message but didn't respond. He started his modest sedan and headed toward the prison, his mind already mapping contingency plans if things went wrong. What no one at Blackwater Prison knew was that Marcus Washington wasn't just a DOG inspector. 5 years ago, he had commanded the most elite Delta Force unit in Afghanistan, responsible for extracting high-value targets from impossible situations. His record was classified at the highest levels, his true identity known only to a select few with appropriate clearance. Today's inspection was actually a cover for gathering intelligence on a suspected terrorist recruitment operation being run from inside Blackwater by Victor Kraus's organization. But with his cover potentially blown, Marcus knew he might be walking into a trap. Marcus Washington walked through the security checkpoints at Blackwater Maximum Security Prison with practiced ease. His Department of Justice credentials granted him access, though he noticed the guards eyeing him with unusual scrutiny. The warden, a nervous man named Philip Garner, greeted him with a forced smile. "Mr. Washington, welcome back to Blackwater," Warden Garner said, shaking his hand weakly. "We weren't expecting your inspection today." Marcus adjusted his glasses. "Random evaluations are part of our new oversight protocols, Warden. I'll need access to the general population areas, particularly Block D." The warden's smile faltered. Block D was Victor Kraus's domain. That might not be advisable today, sir. We're processing new transfers and the environment is tense. I understand, but I'm particularly interested in how your staff handles those situations, Marcus replied calmly, making notes on his clipboard. As they walked through the corridors, Marcus observed everything: the camera positions, guard rotations, the mood of the inmates. Most averted their eyes, but some watched him with unusual interest. Word was spreading about his presence. They entered the yard where inmates were having their scheduled recreation time. Marcus immediately spotted Viktor Kraus, 6'5", heavily tattooed, with Norse symbols and white supremacist iconography. Kraus was surrounded by his crew, all members of the notorious Aryan Steel gang that controlled much of the prison's contraband trade. Kraus noticed Marcus and the warden, his eyes narrowing as he whispered something to his lieutenant. Marcus felt the shift in the yard's atmosphere immediately. His senses, honed by years in combat zones, detected the threat forming around him. "Warden," Marcus said quietly, "I'd like to continue this inspection alone. Your presence changes how the inmates behave." The warden looked relieved. "If you're sure, Mr. Washington, guards will be monitoring from the towers." As the warden departed, Marcus continued his inspection, deliberately moving closer to Kraus's group. He could feel the tension building as inmates began to position themselves around the yard, some taking out contraband phones, anticipating what was to come. Kraus finally approached, towering over Marcus. "Well, look what we have here." "Another government man coming to check on us animals." Marcus maintained his professional demeanor. "Just routine oversight, Mr. Kraus. I'm evaluating rehabilitation programs." Kraus circled Marcus, his gang forming a tightening perimeter. "You know what I think? I think you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. We've got friends on the outside who say you've been asking too many questions." Marcus remained calm, though his mind was calculating escape routes and assessing threats. "I'm just doing my job." "Your job," Kraus sneered. "You people always hide behind your badges and clipboards, think you're better than us." The first push came suddenly. Kraus's lieutenant shoved Marcus from behind. Marcus allowed himself to stumble, maintaining his non-threatening persona. "I don't want any trouble," Marcus said, adjusting his glasses. "I'll complete my inspection elsewhere." Kraus laughed. "Too late for that, government man. We know who sent you. We've got friends in Washington, too." The crowd of inmates had grown larger, many with phones partially hidden, recording the confrontation. A live stream had already begun on a smuggled device, viewers growing by the minute as the video spread across social media. "Just another government spy coming to check on the white man." Kraus suddenly lunged forward, shoving Marcus hard against the concrete wall, his massive forearm pressing against Marcus's throat. The yard fell silent as inmates circled around, phones secretly recording from hidden positions. Marcus's glasses fell and shattered on the ground. His clipboard dropped, papers scattering across the yard. Still, he made no move to defend himself, his eyes remaining steady, breathing controlled despite the pressure on his windpipe. Kraus's face was inches from Marcus's. "I heard you were asking about my business operations. My outside contacts. That makes you a problem." Two more gang members approached, one holding a crude prison knife. The guards in the towers seemed to be deliberately looking away, evidence of Kraus's influence over the prison staff. "You picked the wrong prison to inspect," Kraus hissed, nodding to his knife-wielding associate. "Time to send a message to your Department of Justice friends." The live stream viewer count was exploding. 5,000, then 15,000, then 50,000 people watching as the situation deteriorated. Comments flooded the feed. "They're going to kill him. Where are the guards?" "Someone call the FBI!" As the knife wielder approached, Marcus maintained his calm demeanor, still playing the role of the helpless bureaucrat. But inside, a switch had flipped. His muscles tensed imperceptibly as he prepared for what would come next. Kraus leaned in closer. "After we're done with you, no more inspectors will dare come snooping around my operation. We own this place." The prison's alarm system suddenly blurred to life, red lights flashing across the yard. The inmates looked up, momentarily distracted. Over the PA system, a voice crackled with urgency. "Attention Blackwater staff, this is Director Phillips of the FBI. We have an emergency situation in the main yard. Inmate Viktor Kraus is currently assaulting Colonel Marcus Washington, commander of Delta Force Team 6 and Presidential Medal of Honor recipient. All available personnel to the yard immediately. Federal agents are inbound." Stunned silence fell over the yard. Krause's grip on Marcus's throat loosened slightly as confusion crossed his face. "What the hell?" The voice continued, now broadcasting to the entire prison. "Victor Krause, you are currently threatening a highly decorated Special Forces commander working undercover for a joint FBI-DOJ task force. Release him immediately. Armed federal agents will be on site in 2 minutes." Murmurs rippled through the crowd of inmates. One of them pointed to something that had fallen from Marcus's pocket during the assault, a folded document with a presidential seal and a gold Delta Force insignia visible on the corner. "That's the colonel," one inmate whispered loudly enough for others to hear. "Washington, I read about him. Led the mission that took down the Kandahar cell, rescued those hostages in Somalia." The live stream viewer count exploded to 250,000 as commenters realized what they were witnessing. The hashtag Delta Force Colonel began trending instantly. Krause, still processing the revelation, maintained his grip on Marcus. "You're lying. He's just some paper pusher." Marcus's phone, which had fallen to the ground with his other belongings, suddenly lit up with an incoming call. The screen displayed POTUS, President of the United States. An inmate picked up the phone, his eyes widening as he saw the caller ID. "Holy shit!" he exclaimed, showing it to others nearby. The moment of revelation had arrived. Marcus's eyes, which had maintained their calm, bureaucratic appearance until now, suddenly hardened. His posture shifted subtly, almost imperceptibly, but those close enough noticed the transformation, from prey to predator in an instant. "Mr. Krause," Marcus said, his voice dropping to a dangerous register that hadn't been present before, "I'm going to give you 3 seconds to remove your arm from my throat. Then I'm going to explain the significant error in judgment you've made today." The yard erupted in a mixture of gasps and exclamations as inmates pulled out more phones, raising them higher to capture what was happening. The live stream viewers jumped to over 500,000, comments flooding in faster than anyone could read them. "Oh my God, it's really him! Krause is so dead! That's the Colonel Washington!" Krause, still processing the revelation, maintained his intimidating stance. "I don't care if you're Delta Force or Santa Claus. In here, I'm the..." Krause never finished his sentence. In a move so fast it was barely visible on the video footage, Marcus executed a perfect throat strike that instantly cut off Krause's air supply. As the massive man instinctively reached for his throat, Marcus pivoted, using Krause's own weight against him. Within 2 seconds, the 270-pound gang leader was on his knees, arm hyperextended in a joint lock that left him completely immobilized. The knife-wielding associate lunged forward, but Marcus, while still maintaining control of Krause with one hand, caught the attacker's wrist, twisting with precise pressure on nerve clusters that caused the man to drop the weapon with a howl of pain. A swift kick to the kneecap sent him collapsing to the ground. The third gang member froze, suddenly uncertain. Marcus's eyes locked with his, and the cold, calculating gaze was enough. The man backed away, hands raised. The entire confrontation had taken less than 5 seconds. The yard erupted in shocked exclamations as inmates backed away, creating a wider circle around the scene. The sound of helicopter rotors grew louder overhead as 3 black military choppers appeared above the prison yard. From the main gate, the distinct sound of multiple vehicles approaching at high speed echoed through the compound. Marcus spoke calmly into his watch. "This is Washington. Situation contained. No extraction necessary. But I'll take the support. Main yard, west section." Within minutes, the yard was filled with FBI tactical team members in full gear. They moved with military precision, securing Krause and his associates. The warden, now pale and sweating, was escorted in by 2 agents. A distinguished-looking man in a suit approached Marcus, who had finally released Krause into FBI custody. "Colonel Washington," the man said, extending his hand. "Director Reynolds, FBI. Sorry about blowing your cover. We were monitoring the live stream and made a judgment call when we saw the knife." Marcus nodded. "Understandable, Director. I appreciate the assist." He straightened his clothing, the transformation back to his calm, professional demeanor almost complete. Though something had fundamentally changed, there was no hiding who he was now. An FBI agent approached with a laptop. "Sir, we've accessed Krause's communication network. You were right. They've been coordinating with at least 3 known terror cells. We're finding evidence of planned attacks on federal buildings in Washington, Chicago, and Los Angeles." Director Reynolds looked at Marcus with new respect. "How long have you been tracking this?" 14 months, Marcus replied. The prison was just one node in the network, but it was the communication hub. Krause has been using his white supremacist connections to coordinate with international terror groups, shared enemies, shared goals. As FBI agents led Krause away, the gang leader's face was drained of color. "You can't do this," he protested weakly. "I have rights." Marcus approached him, voice low enough that only Krause and the nearest agents could hear. "What you have, Mr. Krause, is a one-way ticket to a black site where people like me ask questions of people like you. Those plans you were organizing? That's treason during wartime. Think about the implications." Krause's expression shifted from defiance to dawning horror as the full weight of his situation became clear. Another agent approached with documents. "Colonel Washington, we've identified the corrupt guards on Krause's payroll. 5 staff members, including the deputy warden, all being taken into custody now." Director Reynolds turned to the warden, who was being questioned nearby. "Warden Garner, your facility has been compromised at the highest levels. As of this moment, Blackwater Prison is under federal receivership. The Department of Justice will be appointing an interim administration." The warden, looking utterly defeated, nodded weakly. An FBI tech specialist approached with a tablet showing the live streams and social media reaction. "Sir, this has gone completely viral. Over 2 million concurrent viewers across platforms. Delta Force Colonel and Prison Hero are the top trending hashtags nationally." Marcus sighed, looking at the footage of himself taking down Krause and his associates. His cover was irreparably blown, years of undercover work now exposed to the world. But the primary mission was accomplished. The terror network was being dismantled in real time as FBI teams across the country moved on Krause's associates. Phase 6. The Aftermath. 3 months later, the federal courthouse was packed beyond capacity. Journalists filled the gallery as Victor Krause and 23 co-defendants faced the judge for sentencing on charges of terrorism, conspiracy, and treason. The evidence gathered from the Blackwater operation had led to the largest domestic terrorism bust in U.S. history. Marcus Washington sat in the front row. No longer in his inspector disguise, he wore a tailored suit, his military posture evident, no glasses hiding his sharp eyes. Next to him sat his daughter Amara, now interning with the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division. The judge addressed the courtroom. "After reviewing all evidence and considering the guilty verdicts on all counts, this court sentences Victor Krause to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, to be served at ADX Florence Supermax facility in isolation from all other inmates." Krause, now wearing prison orange, his once intimidating presence diminished, looked over at Marcus with a mixture of hatred and fear. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed as Marcus and Amara emerged. The case had captured national attention, with the video of the prison confrontation viewed over 50 million times. 6 months later, Marcus Washington stood at a podium in the Department of Justice press briefing room. Behind him was a large display announcing the Washington Protocol, a comprehensive new prison reform and oversight program being implemented nationwide. Today marks the official launch of a new era in correctional facility oversight, Marcus announced to the assembled reporters. The Washington Protocol implements mandatory body cameras for all corrections officers, independent inspectors with federal authority, and anti-corruption measures to ensure our prisons serve their rehabilitative purpose without becoming recruitment centers for criminal enterprises. A slide appeared showing the early results. Prison violence down 47% in pilot facilities 102. Corrupt officials identified and removed 7 additional terror networks, dismantled. Rehabilitation program participation up 36%. The Attorney General stepped to the microphone. Colonel Washington's extraordinary service to this nation continues in his new role as Special Advisor for Correctional System Integrity. His unique perspective as both a decorated military officer and someone who has personally experienced racial profiling and discrimination brings invaluable insight to our reform efforts. 1 year later, Marcus sat in his new office at the Department of Justice, walls adorned with his military honors and awards for his prison reform work. A photo on his desk showed him and Amara at her graduation, both smiling proudly. A news report played on a small television in the corner. The Washington Protocol has now been implemented in all federal facilities and adopted by 27 states. Congressional funding has been approved to expand the program nationwide by next year. Reports of racial violence in participating facilities have dropped by 67%, while successful rehabilitation and reduced recidivism rates are showing promising early results. The door opened, and Director Reynolds entered, accompanied by the FBI Deputy Director and the Secretary of Homeland Security. "Colonel Washington," Reynolds said, "we need your expertise again. There's a situation developing at a private military contractor facility. We have reason to believe they're training domestic extremists under the guise of security consulting." Marcus studied the file they handed him, then nodded. "When do we start?" "Immediately," the secretary replied. "Your new team is already assembling. They're calling it Task Force Washington." As Marcus prepared to leave, his phone buzzed with a text from Amara. "Proud of you, Dad. Mom would be too." In the final scene, Marcus Washington stood at the Lincoln Memorial, gazing across the reflecting pool as the sun set over the Washington Monument. A group of young correctional officer cadets approached, part of the new training program he had established. "Colonel Washington," one said respectfully, "would you mind saying a few words to our class? Your story inspired many of us to join the Reformed Correctional Service." Marcus looked at the diverse group of young faces and nodded. "The measure of justice in a society isn't just in its laws, but in how we treat those who have broken them. Every person deserves dignity, regardless of their past. Remember that power comes with responsibility, and true strength isn't about domination, it's about protection and service." As he spoke, the camera panned out to show the cadets listening intently, the peaceful scene a stark contrast to the prison yard confrontation that had started it all. A graphic appeared showing the nationwide impact of the Washington Protocol, with statistics demonstrating the transformation of the American prison system. If this story of courage, justice, and systemic change inspired you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful true stories that expose injustice and celebrate the heroes fighting to make a difference.